on, people. Well, cops did a pretty good job here. Rick, cops never do a good job. You just hate police. Well, okay. This is going to go on the Cops Did the Right Thing playlist. So, this is interesting because we have a write-up down here. The 911 Video News is their channel here. So it says the incident was 8/16 of 18. Witnesses called the police saw a male robbing a female with a purse of her purse. So what's the difference between purse snatching and robbery? Is there a difference? There is a difference. All those that don't think there's a difference, raise your hand. Yeah, you're wrong. If I snatch a purse off of you and you don't resist, it is merely theft or grand theft, depending on how much money, etc. If you grab the strap and we fight and wrestle, now it becomes force or fear. I'm using force to remove it from you. You're resisting and I fight. Therefore, it becomes a robbery. Okay? So, when people use these terms, a lot of times people confuse them, and a lot of people don't understand it. You know, think a robbery or an assault is the same as a battery. A robbery is the same as a burglary. A burglary is different than a theft. Grand theft is different than petty theft. And I mean, there's a lot of legal terms. Really, it doesn't matter, except a robbery is considered more violent because you use force or fear. When she did not let go, the male dragged her. There's the force. Dragged her. This happened outside the Howard Johnson motel. Motel, hotel, what you gonna do? All right, when a witness confronted the suspect made terrorist threats. So we're using terrorist threats here. And again, each state has their own definition of what a terrorist threat is. Most of the time, it's threats of doing severe damage or killing, or threats made with the intent to create fear, blah, blah. But anyway, that you'd have to look it up. So I don't even know what city this happened in. I think it might be California, but I'm not sure. Does he say? National City Boulevard and National City. What state is National City in? Anybody know? All right. Neighbors told the police the officer suspect seen hopping fence in the backyard. When the police went to the area, officer and his K-9 were attacked by two smaller dogs. A second police officer attempted to scare the dogs away with a taser, but they wouldn't stop. He eventually had to tase one dog while the owner grabbed the other dog. Okay? Suspect was eventually apprehended, taken to jail. It is believed that he is the pimp of the victim. Charges include robbery, kidnapping, terrorist threats, human trafficking. So, robbery would be the taking of the purse. They charge him with kidnapping because he either stopped her from moving or moved her from one possession to the other. If I physically take custody of you and move you, I've committed the act of kidnapping. In most states, again, you'll have to read each state because they have specific things. Terrorist threats, he probably said, I'm going to kill you, bitch. Human trafficking, because he probably takes money because he's making her give sex for money. The officer and the K-9 did not suffer injuries. Okay, so that's the story. So everybody right now has their own picture of what happened, right? All right, let's listen to the police sergeant explain what happened.
RRA. I'm a patrol sergeant for the National City Police Department.
Thank you, sir. Can you tell us what happened this morning?
Sure. This morning we received a few calls of a male and a female fighting.
Male and female fighting. What it actually was a pimp beating up his hooker, or his girl, or his woman, or his bitch, or his hoe, whatever you want to use. I don't know what the proper pronoun is.
Somewhere in the area of the 500 block of National City Boulevard. When the officers arrived, they discovered that a robbery had taken place. And
when they arrived, they discovered, how did they discover that? You discover it's a robbery when somebody says hey, he dragged her with her purse, he's trying to steal her purse, and he ran off with her purse. So that's how they probably determined that. A witness said, what happened? They said, hey, these two were fighting, and then the guy grabbed her purse, she wouldn't give it to him, he started dragging her, and then he ran off with her purse. Oh, okay, so the cop goes, okay, sounds like we got a robbery now. Now we're looking for a fleeing felon, which means we can do a lot more things because a violent felony has occurred.
And the first responding officer saw one of the combatants running northbound on...
One of the combatants. So it sounds like they said they were both fighting with each other. They didn't even look at her as a victim. So she must have hit him, kicked him or something, they found out later, because he said one of the combatants.
On D Avenue.
So we've been told there's a robbery, there's the other word for kidnapping. And
I think he said the other word for kidnapping would normally be false imprisonment, but I'm not sure why he's saying that.
And then terrorist threats to the witness.
Right, of course. Right now, it's still preliminary in the it's still early. Right now, information's coming in as far as what we can verify and ascertain because we have multiple witnesses.
I'll say this cop is pretty cool. The sergeant saw a guy on scene with a camera and decided to stop and talk to him. That was pretty nice. He answered his questions, did a good little interview. So I'd say props to the sergeant. I bet you when he gets back, the chief is going to go, hey man, I'm the only one who gets airtime. If anybody wants a suppress statement from now on, you refer them to me. I want to make sure what comes out of my department. So I think he's going to get his ass chewed later, but we'll see.
We only saw parts of the incident, and it's difficult to be able to see what's...
He's a nice guy. I wonder if this is a clue. Rick, what do you mean? Never mind.
What we can prove in court.
Now, the suspect was found in the backyard of some homes, and a K-9 tried going in, but the K-9 was attacked by other dogs. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So during the search of the suspect...
Black band on here. Mourning a down officer. Normally, cops wear the black band until the officer is buried. Once he's buried, you can take the band off.
Our K-9, our police dog, was attacked by two dogs of one of our residents here.
And that band, I'm sorry, I'll go back. The band is not necessarily in his agency. Every agency, close proximity, whatever, they'll wear them. It used to be you'd only wear it if it was your agency, and then it got expanded to bring awareness to how many cops are killed. Every agency wears a band for every cop ever killed anywhere. So they can wear it 365 days a year. Then they get to run around and go, it's a dangerous job, Rick, and we're all here. All right, whatever.
In search of the suspect, our K-9, our police dog, was attacked by two dogs of one of our residents here.
Attacked by two dogs at one of the residents. Who's surprised they didn't say we killed the dogs?
The dogs were quickly subdued.
And was the K-9 injured at all?
No, the K-9 was not injured.
Okay, and then the suspect was apprehended, and did he resist at all?
No, so the suspect was apprehended shortly after in a few neighboring yards and complied the entire time.
Okay, anything you'd like to add, sir?
No.
Okay, good little interview. Now let's see what happened. Now remember, I read it to you like if you read a newspaper and you had one idea. After you heard the sergeant explain it, you might have changed what you thought or believed from what you read. Now we're going to see the actual thing and see if that changes from what we read and what the sergeant said. The orange shotgun usually signifies orange or green. Any color other than the standard shotgun means it's a less than lethal. It's got either beanbag rounds, rubber bullets, not tear gas, pepper spray, or maybe they did have the tear gas pellets. I don't remember what they used to put in those little pellets. Was it tear gas or pepper spray?
K-9. Suspect, I know you're in that dog. Can you come out now for that dog bite you?
Guns out. Everyone has hair. Nobody gets shot. Okay, so I'm not sure I would let my dog go in there without clearing or something. I wouldn't want my dog to get stabbed. I wouldn't want the guy sitting in there. So I don't know if I would do that. Ideally, this is what a dog's for. All the cops stay in a position of safety. This guy's a little bit in a crossfire. If this guy has to shoot, this guy's ear is going to be gone. This guy's low, which is good, but if somebody shoots, he may stand up to get out of the way, and then he moves in a line of fire. So I don't know if this is ideally here, but, I mean, there's not a lot of cover. So they are maintaining cover, and they're clearing and covering the dog in case somebody runs out with a gun. I would think this guy would be better covering this hole and let the front guy cover this side. That way you have both sides and you're not pointing your guns at each other. But again, tactics are fluid. They dictate, depends on what happening, who moves. Somebody moves in your way. If you have to move forward, backwards, someone else has to move. If there's new targets, new areas of responsibility change. So tactics is constantly flowing when you're doing these things. Another reason I won't want my dog run in here is somebody has like an animal trap. You know, there's guys that would set up traps in their yard, so when the cops walked in or if a dog walked in, it would snap their leg or whatever. So I don't know if there's any animal traps set in there. I mean, let my dog run around in the dark, and I don't even know if the guy's in there. I think I would have walked up with my dog, gave a clearing here, shined a flashlight in, and been a little bit closer and kind of at least looked at terrain. I mean, he doesn't know whether there's chemicals in there or oils. He's sending his dog in blind, and I just wouldn't do that. I'm not saying he's bad or mean or whatever. I'm just saying those are considerations before I sent my dog. At least you took his leash off. I see a lot of cops letting their dog search with leash where he can hang up or the suspect can grab it. That's a bad move. Unhook your freaking dog. Don't let him drag a leash. It affects him, and it gives the crook the advantage. Wow, he just swept that dog. Rick, he can't do that. They're officer safety and they shouldn't be sweeping. He just ran his gun straight down on top of the officer. Watch this guy in the back. Here we go. Let's see the laser. Laser, 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 laser. Laser, 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 laser. Pow! Oh, sorry, dude. Shot you in the head. Sorry. See this guy. So now he puts his gun away. This guy still got his gun out. Holy shit, we found a car. Yeehaw. Now, anytime I do a search like this, when I see a car under a tarp net, I always run a plate to see if it come back stolen. Always. Sunglasses on, you're coming out of a bright area into a dark area. There's no night vision. You notice he took his sunglasses off so he kind of see a little bit better. That's always an issue. Running out of a house, through a house, under trees, shaded areas, in garages. Eyes are constantly adjusting. Those are other factors that a lot of people, unless you're doing it, never really think about. Yeah, now's a good time to check underneath. You guys have been running around and shit. He's under there shooting your freaking legs out with a shotgun. Maybe it's a good time to check. Rick, you're just being... I'm just picking on him. Hey, he just climbed that fence. How can he climb that fence? He doesn't have a warrant. He's trespassing. Exigency. Hot pursuit. They're in pursuit of a fleeing suspect.
No break-in. There's no break-in if you got front, I hope. Okay.
A lot of bars on homes here. People feel secure here. They want their house secure for some reason. In places where you have bars on the window, you shouldn't leave bricks and things out because criminals love to pick up things and throw them that assist them in breaking into your house. So you don't want to leave like crowbars and freaking saws that cut through metal and shit at your front door if you don't want the criminals to use it. Anything outside, criminals will use. I'm bumping it. I think he looks over the thing here. No big deal. Climbed on there. I would have probably had my gun out there. Depending on the guy. I mean, he just took a purse, so he may or may not be armed. But I probably would have had my gun out here before I peek over a fence in case I take rounds. Is that K-9 a female? His hair kind of looks like he's a female. Rick, he identifies. You can't ask. Okay, I'm not asking. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody. He can be a male, whatever. Okay, So this guy's running around back with his gun. So obviously what they're trying to do is the dogs are barking or somebody said they saw him and they think they have the guy. So this is kind of what you call a quick makeshift perimeter. Guys scatter to pick up corners so they can see if he jumps another fence or runs. If we can get him locked down in this perimeter, we know he's in there, then we can get the dog, etc. Perimeter probably should have been first. There seemed like a really big hurry to get in on this guy. So this guy, they were opening the gate. This guy came out and assist them. Is that consent? First of all, they don't need consent with exigency. They can tear down the gate. Rick, that's private property. They can't do that. Well, sorry, they can. And guess what? They ain't going to pay for it either. Anyway, but because this guy came out and helped them, they would also use, if there was some lawsuit later because they end up shooting his mother and his daughter and 3 children, you know, if they kill everybody in his house, he's going to want to sue and say they didn't have the right, and they're going to say, hey, he opened a gate. Not only did we have exigency, but he kind of gave consent by opening the gate. It was implied consent. He didn't have to say it, but it was implied, and everybody recognized he wanted you to come in because he opened a gate for you. So here's where it gets interesting. This guy's dragging his dog out while these little dogs are attacking his dog. Now, personally, I would have picked my dog up and I would have been kicking those dogs. Rick, you're mean. I just wouldn't have let him chew on my poor dog when I'm holding his head away and he can't defend himself. I wouldn't have done that. So this cop did a pretty good job. You see one little dog here and there's another little dog on his ass and they are on him like white on rice. And I'm telling you, this poor little dog can't defend himself because this cop stops him. Most people will say he did the right thing. You know, they're in someone else's house. These dogs were protecting their area, and he gets his dog out of there. These cops could have easily pulled their gun, killed these dogs, and said, I was protecting my dog. And it would have been justified. It would have been bullshit, but it would have been justified. And that's why when people say the shooting was justified, it doesn't mean it was right. I think this cop did the right thing.
No, leave it! Come here.
So these little dogs are all over this dude. See, I'm kicking me some freaking dogs. See, if he picked his dog up completely and held him, straddled him in both arms, these little dogs can't jump high enough to get him, and then he could walk away or kick the dogs. If another officer's there, they could have came by and kicked a dog, or I mean, if I was there and I saw a dog getting hit, I'd reach up behind one of these dogs and grab him right by the scruff of the neck like they're a puppy and pick them up, and they're done. They ain't gonna bite me with my hand behind their neck. I'd hold him up, either throw him over the fence or hold him up until he got away, close the gate, and then throw him back over the fence. But nobody's really helping this K-9 dude, and this poor dog's just becoming a freaking pinata for these 2 dogs. And that dog would have killed, he knows this dog would have killed those dogs. So the guy let him in the house, and he didn't want to kill the dogs. So to me, he did the right thing. Even if his dog got injured a little bit, I still think he did the right thing. Now, if he was paying attention, I would bring him back to the owner. The owner has the best chance of grabbing these dogs. He keeps moving away, so everybody's chasing him, but he's focused on the dog, his dog, and their dogs. So he's spinning and he's moving and he's keeping his dog moving. I mean, shit, I would have even picked my dog up and put him on top of a roof, said stay there, and held him there on this guy's car. I wouldn't have cared. I'd have thrown his ass on a roof till we get those little dogs under control. So this guy starts kicking. His taser's going off.
What the fuck, man? Gary, grab your dog and go over the fence.
So now they're yelling him, grab the dog, but you keep running away from him. Bring your dog back to him. Then again, he could be thinking, I don't want to let my dog get close. My dog's trying to bite everything. He'll bite this guy, and I don't want to get an unlawful bite. So pretty chaotic. This guy does a really good job. All the cops do for not shooting these dogs. Ah, he zapped his ass there.
Leave it. Grab your dog. Gary.
Okay, so he probably got zapped. This guy with the crutches and no hair is like, whatever. Get your ass in the house. So he got zapped. Finally, they got the little guy away, but he's coming back. Somebody grab the damn dog. Hell, I'd even thrown my dog over this fence. if I had to get those dogs off him. You get your dog high and away. No! There you go. Grabbed him right by the collar back. And that's exactly what I would have done had those dogs been there. While they're concentrating on the dog, I'd have grabbed one of those dogs just like that. I forgot he did that. Poor little dog. This guy looks like he's aiming, but his barrel's behind his wood. If he fires right now, he's going to get shrapnel all over him, and everyone else in the area is going to get shrapnel. That's why it's very, very difficult when you're shooting over or using a supported barricade position. Your barrel should always clear that position. I can't tell you the number of times that cops have shot thinking they were in front of this thing and the wood blows up. I mean, we do training at the range like that, and if you look at the wood, it's always shot up. Because cops, even at the range, without the high stress, they still shoot the barricade. This guy's got a shotgun behind here if he shoots. Oh, shit, man. Guy's out here lost his doctor book. He was looking for his doctor equipment checklist that he had, and these cops are harassing him. Why's he got to be a pimp? He don't even look old enough to be a pimp. Shit. Ain't got no damn belt. He must not be that good of a pimp. He can't afford a belt to hold up his damn pants. Oh, hang on. Here's where he says, I love you, baby. I think this might be the other girl involved, or one of his other little hoes. I'm sorry, not hoe. One of his other women that he's giving a job. He's an entrepreneur, and he's creating economic growth by giving her a job. That's it.
I love you, mama.
I love you, mama. Aw, he calls her mama. George Floyd called his girlfriend mama, too. Aw, he called her mama. I want to hear that again.
Hey, I love you. I love you, mama.
Aw, I love you. You know what that means? Don't press charges. Don't cooperate with the cops. Don't say I took your purse. I still love you. Because when I get out, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. So I love you now, so you don't press charges. But when I get out, it's your ass. That's what this really means. That's for you people that don't get this. Oh, Rick, you're just picking on him. He's a nice guy. Look at her. She's nice. Oh, he loves her. She has somebody that loves her. All is good in the world. All right. Anyway, look, we heard what it was writing. We heard what the sergeant said, and then we saw it. So make your own conclusion about this. I think the cops did a pretty good job. All right, we'll end that there.